138, imagine yourself in northern Israel, in the mystical city of Tzfat. And as the sun is setting, you walk out toward the rolling hills of the Galil, welcoming the Sabbath bride. Paragraphs 1 and 2, 5 and 9, Lecha Dodi, page 138 and 139. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, v'shemu tiferet le'edilah. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki hi mekor ha'bracha merosh, mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Hitorari, kifa orech, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai, alayich negila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Bori v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzohala, toch emunei v'segula. Boi chala, boi chala, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Kabbalat. Turning together to page 121, at the bottom of the page, Buber teaches us, help me perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I might honor your name and create a world of justice and peace. On the facing page 120, bringing the Sabbath joy, bringing the Sabbath light, bringing our communities and our family together with the lighting of the Sabbath candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. As we turn together in our Siddur to page 142, we are taught that Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem HaShalom, this idea of peace requires that we see and respond to the other. Shalom Aleichem Malachei HaSharet, peace not just for ourselves, but for these angels in our midst, honoring the essential workers who are seeing each of us and our loved ones and our neighbors and our fellow citizens through this period of COVID. These nurses, Marie Delaparte, Christina Dubois, Teresa Eggers, Lindsay Miller, Jay Mountier, Cindy Pomerantz, Helen Powers, Joni Savego, Lucinda Siegel, Christina Snell, Ashley Wallace, Ben Wilder, Elisa Williams, we thank you. These doctors, Linda Brandon, Amy Cagiula, Joe Cohen, Shani David, Elliot Dresnick, Lee Gerson Friedman, Nicholas Friedman, Stephen Grossman, Elon Haley, Jan Hoyt, Steve Kaplan, Howard Leifer, Liz Levine, Aaron Daniel Levitt, L. Levitt, Noah Alexander Levitt, Richard Levy, Matthew Lordy, Hannah Mittenberg, Wendy Parrish, Stephen Schwartz, Andrew Yanowski, Martin Krakauer, Jody Sumber. We thank you. These healthcare professionals, Yisrael Aga, Dara Clausen, Bar Levi Romer, Catherine Monsky, Joseph Schwendeman, Amy Skorka, Maureen Terranova, Jaron Whittam. We thank you. These first responders, Ryan Coletti, Mark Donchek, Steve Fleischer, Don Hughes, Karen Leader, Abe Markovitz, Anthony Schleuderer, Russell Seymour, Kahana Skalnick. We thank you. These educational professionals, Sandy Albelli, Cindy Binney, Cara Levine Brenner, Carolyn Cernitsky, Lauren DePola, Molly Levine Hunt, Jim Hunt, Tammy Logan, Joanne Miller, Tracy Pollock, Cameron Rabb, Lauren Rose, Erin Swan, Sue Worthman, Karen Zrake, Brett Zuckerman. We thank you. These social workers and mental health care professionals, Andrew Binney, Charlie DeGeorge, Anastasia Duval-Yonetti, Janalee Fish, Dara Heinlein, Deb Jones, Stephen Kahn, Lauren Petties, Julie Stein-Makowski, Sherry Tessler, we thank you. These grocery staff personnel, Jill Smith, Mike Becker, Matthew Wilder, we thank you. These technicians, electricians, maintenance people, Mike Brewer, Brian Lestrange, we thank you. And these transportation workers, Danny Miller, we thank you. With the Sabbath upon us, with these family members, neighbors who put themselves on the front lines to protect us, with the harrowing nature of this past week, I invite you to settle into a space that is pure safety, hope, and shalom.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzidchem Shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat shares the root with Shvita. Shin Bet Tav, to cease. Shvita is a strike, a line that you do not cross. Shabbat. This magical, renewing pause, being with the sacred, to breathe, to know, to to hope, to despair.
Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, unripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my days be as the ones before, lest routine set my ways. Lamdeni Eloi, barich v'yitpalel, lamed et siftotai, bracha v'shir halel. Lamdeni Eloi, barich v'yitpalel, lamed et siftotai, bracha v'shir halel. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai.
146, calling one another into formal worship.
Lai, 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 baruch hu et Adonai, lai, hamevorach, lai, 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 baruch Adonai, hamevorach, le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai,
148 at the bottom of the page. The darkness of the first day of creation differed from the darkness that preceded creation. The root of the word ma'ariv can also mean me'arev, to mix, suggesting that Hashekhinah mixed light into the primordial darkness. And so it is that the tiniest spark of light can transform the darkness.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamari Varavi.
150, welcoming, unconditional love.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbeinu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha uv'mitzvotecha ve'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavat chal tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael
152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed
154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Buber teaches, when people come to you for help, do not turn them off with pious words saying, have faith and take your troubles to the one. Act instead as if there were no eternal one, as though there were only one person in all the world who could help, only yourself.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
159 Emet. Salvation is the Jew's victory over human limitations, ignorance, or insensitivity. It is the conquest of sinfulness over the evils resident within the self: pride, selfishness, hate, lust, fear, cynicism, the deliberate rejection of goodness and truth. Only when we conquer these human foibles, these human fallibilities, can we hope for healing in the world.
Lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ledor b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, nora tehilot osei fele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Lai 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 lai.
One 166 lines from the bottom of the Hebrew paragraph. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu, guard our coming in and going out, and then returning to the top of the page. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom.
Ushmor tzitenu vo'enu l'chaim u'l'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'ha'amitzenu shomreinu l'chaim, uvros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam.
165, Rabbi Nachman of Bratzlev teaches every word of one's prayers should be like a rose that is picked from a bush. Rose after rose One gathers until a bouquet is formed and can be offered to Hatsur as a beautiful blessing. 164.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la
Finding our own individual prayer, the Amidah continues through page 180.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, hu yaseh shalom. שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל, ועל כל, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל, ועל כל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו amen. We ask for peace on earth, and we say amen. ואמרו אמן, ואמרו amen. We raise our voice as one, and we say amen.
We reach for you, Hatsur, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. To be in this place again. Lech Lecha. This incredible journey of learning the world, of finding ourselves, of connecting with the sacred. That's the parasha this week. Lech Lecha. The third parasha of our cycle. We learn about Sarai and Avram. Avram and Sarai, the first Jews on a journey. Finding themselves and finding their connection to the Sacred One. So beautiful, so magical, such an incredible parasha. And yet every year I am stumped by the first of three occurrences that happens in this week's parasha. In Genesis 12, 10 through 20. It will happen again in Genesis 20, 1 through 18, and happen yet again in Genesis 26, 1 through 6. Avraham twice, first as Avram and then as Avraham, and then his son Isaac will turn to their beloved, their beshert, their soulmates, their partners, their wives, and ask them to lie. Ask them to pose not as the women that they are, beloved, beshert, soulmates, partners and wives, but rather, if you will, says Avram to Sarai, say that you are my sister. I find this incredibly troubling. What is going on with Avram, who will then become Abraham and do this again, and his son Isaac? I find it even more problematic that each time these two men do this, Abraham and then Isaac, it comes immediately after the sources pledge to Avram and Sarai, to Abraham and Sarah, to Isaac and Rebekah, that the source will protect us and make us prosperous. So what is this scandalous lie that our patriarchs do? If you will, say that you are my sister, says Avram to Sarai. And so it will go well with me, and so that they will not kill me because you are so beautiful. I am profoundly troubled that so many of the rabbis in our tradition want to explain why it's okay that Avram does this. Abravanel considers this to be one of the 10 tests of Abraham. Midrash HaGadol says it wasn't really a lie, it was really a white lie, because achoti is a kinui, it's a loving nickname for your wife, my sister, my wife. And in fact, we hear that in prose of Song of Songs, and we even learn that in 2012, Abraham will justify his own actions by saying, well, she is my sister, as well as my wife, in that, while we have different mothers, we share the same father. It troubles me and pains me, first, that Abraham does it, and then second, that our voices of wisdom suggest that there is a good rationale for doing this. After all, they say, nothing happened to Sarai. After all, they say, Avram knew that the divine would make it okay. But if Avram knew that the divine was going to make it okay, then why would he put his beloved, his beshert, his partner, his wife in such a tenuous and vulnerable situation? Why would he put himself in the position that he lies? I'm so grateful for the Ramban, Nachmanides, who will not go along with the other commentators. He says, no, it was a great sin, inexcusable, for Avram to put her in that danger. He had no place, no right, no justification in doing so. And you who study with me know that I am not so quick to say that no harm came to Sarai. The text tells us that the Pharaoh took Sarai into his house. Took Sarai into his house can be understood as a euphemism for making her like a wife, for bringing her into his intimate spaces. What is going on? You know, we learned that there was a ra'av, there was a famine in the land. We had just been promised that everything was going to be great, and then there was a famine. It reminds me of COVID. The best economy ever. If not for COVID. Well, my friends, pandemics happen. Famines happen. We can't decide what's going to happen to us and what's not going to happen to us. We can only decide how we are going to act when these things happen. Let's stop for a moment and look at the language embellished here. There was a famine in the land, and Avram yored Mitzrayma. He goes down, he goes down, he goes down to Egypt. There's a yiridah. He goes down to Egypt, and the text says, he kriv la'avo, he kriv, as he got closer to arriving. He kriv la'avo, he kriv. We know that word, hakrava. He kriv, to come close, is also the Hebrew word that we use to reach the sacred one. Hakrava, to make a sacrifice, to open ourselves to the Holy One. As Avram, he kriv lavo, as he got closer to arriving, he had a choice to make. Was he going to take the high road? Or was he going to sacrifice, and not a sacrifice on the high road to reach the divine, but a sacrifice of whom and of what? A sacrifice of Sarai? Of his own integrity, of his own honesty? Is Avram and chas v'shalom, our commentators, are they suggesting that the women in our midst are expendable? There was a ra'av in the land, there was a famine in the land. Do we think that women, or the elderly, or Latinos, or blacks, or the disabled, people with disabilities, do we think the poor, that those individuals are expendable? Avram had a choice. Was he going to do his hakravah, get closer to the divine and take the high road? Or was he willing to sacrifice his own integrity, his own honesty, and his wife's well-being? Nachmanides says, Avram erred. He made a mistake. He did not take the sacred to heart. There was a ra'av, a famine in the land. Our responsibility at times of adversity is not just to our own well-being. You know, that section of today's portion, Genesis 12:16, tells us that when the Pharaoh realized in a dream that Sarai was actually Avram's wife, he came and he said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he returns Sarai. And he lavishes upon Avram gifts, sheep, cattle, donkeys, workers, maidservants, camels. Avram was enriched through this moment. But what about Sarai? Yes, there are individuals who survive COVID, but there are 250,000 and counting Americans. 250,000 Americans who did not survive. And hundreds of thousands more who could lose their lives. We are on a frightening trajectory. And the scientists tell us that if all of us would wear masks, at least 100,000 could be saved. At least 100,000 human beings, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, children, could be saved. I don't believe that these people are expendable. These mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers. We can take the high road, or we will be sacrificing. Oh, the rabbis say Abraham was frightened. He was scared. But when we're scared, that doesn't give us permission to abuse the other, to imagine that another is expendable. It gets lost in the news. I can't let it get lost. Over 500 children, babies, toddlers, infants, nursing, were separated from their mothers, from their parents at the border. It was a policy. It was a policy to deter others from seeking asylum in America. There are many voices in America. There are many people who believe that we need to revamp our immigration policies. But even if we think that, others are not expendable. that child at the border has as many human rights as my grandchild. Over 500 children violently separated from their parents. We can take the high road, or we will be sacrificing the well-being of others. Yes, it went well for Avram. And maybe there are those who say if it went well for Avram, then by extension it went well for Sarai. But I will tell you that in the traumatic moment of being separated from her husband, of being brought into the house of the Pharaoh, if Avram was scared of what the Pharaoh would do, then it's important for Avram and for us to be mindful of how Sarai must have felt. No, our women are not expendable. It's been a hard few years. It's been a hard few weeks. My heart is crushed at the fear that by pushing the most right-wing judge onto the Supreme Court that does not reflect the majority of the Americans' will, we are making a decision to sacrifice the health and well-being of Americans who will potentially lose their health care, of women who will not be able to make decisions about the well-being of their own bodies. We can take the high road, or we can act out of a sentiment that somehow we are getting what we want. Somehow Avram, he was safe and he was enriched in the doing. And even if you, my congregants, are safe at this moment, and some of you are not, but even if and when you are the individual who is lucky enough to be safe, you have a choice to make. And even at the risk of having to face down and negotiate hard decisions for this country, will we act out of our own sense of what we have or what we need, or will we be willing to know that when the vulnerable in our midst do not have what they need, then we can't have what we need? We are on a journey now. During services, I shared with you that even in darkness, there can be light, there can be hope, but there is a choice. And the choice is not black and white. These are hard choices, but what I am asking you to factor into your choices today and tomorrow and every day is the well-being of the other as your well-being. Only when we take the high road will we truly make the journey and reach sacred living. As a community, we turn together to page 371, where texts for the Misha Berach appear. For those who would like to follow the exact words of the Misha Berach that will be prayed by our cantorial soloist, Alexandra Schleuderer, please go to the bottom of your streaming page and the text of the Lisa Levine arrangement can be accessed. As we pray for healing, we open the Aron HaKodesh, asking for the presence of the divine in our midst, asking for the guidance to reach for the highest that we are capable of reaching for, to heal and to protect the vulnerable. Avel ben Rachel v'David, Susan Bosch, Miles Brackman, Daniel Jules Brenner, Andrea Klein, Lou Klein, Mary Jane Klein, Audrey Cohen, Barbara Cohen, Phoebe Cohen, Robert Cohen, Adele Corvin, Tyler Corvin, Louis Costello, John Gaudier, Stephen Gutterman, Judy Jacobs, Seth Kerr, Ben Reyes, Kristen Riley, Claude Schleuderer, Robin Stone, Ellen Vogelov, George Wells, Ben Wilder. Continued prayers for healing, Todd Albelli, Tommy Anderson, Jan Bennett, Deborah Brenner, Joe Calley, Michael Corvin, Vanessa Durant, Steve Fine, Marvin Feldman, Cheryl Fitzsimmons, Barbara Gallagher, Francine Glasser, Mark Greenberg, Marcia Hamburg, Valerie Henderson, Danny Joseph, Heather Kedar, Marty Cantor, Anita Cantor, Heather Kite, Jill Levy-Corley, Charlie Littman, Naomi Lurie, David Mallon, Danielle Mass, Sandy Mell, Joan Moore, Ann Murkoff, Marshall Nadan, Catherine Nicholson, Nevaeh Nuzzi, Steve Perlmutter, Antoinette Phelan, Lillian Rich Schuster, Tony Rosenstein, Dave Rosenthal, Evie Rosenthal, Kyle Rothgeb, Barbara Salberg, Henry Sanderson, Shirley Schneider, Deborah Sears, Phil Searles, Sloan Shortley, Michelle Simon, Charles Slutsky, Elaine Trott, Mark Trott, Sandy Weiner, Karen Wilder, Mac Williams, Scott Zimler.
Mi sheberach avotinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mi sheberach imotinu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi sheberach avotinu, mi sheberach imotinu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
Tomorrow morning, our minyan begins at 10 a.m. Next week, our virtual learning is as scheduled throughout the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all classes will be held. Please check our website and your update emails. Our many congregants and volunteers are planning for a full virtual annual fall gala honoring Dave and Evie Rosenthal on November 7th. We have so much to celebrate. And on November 7th, we will do that as a congregation, beginning at 7 p.m. This will be a virtual and exceptional affair with a virtual live concert, accessible journal, and many surprises. Please, please order your ticket now. Help us to honor our long-standing members and help us to build up the security and well-being of our congregation. For full details, check our web page. Our new solar energy fundraising campaign continues. This is a win-win. You save money, you do the right thing for the earth, and the congregation is sustained. If you have not yet already done so, please sign up for our solar panel fundraiser. You can reach out to Jessica Fillmore and she will guide you in signing up. To have an essential worker added to our list, please contact the office. Our building remains closed, but we are available by phone, by email. Please reach out to us. We cherish maintaining connection with you. 595 for our congregation. It has been a tough 10 days. We have sustained multiple losses. As I name those who let go of their hold on life in the last month, I am holding all of the names of your loved ones for those people who are observing their Shana, their year of grief. We are with Sandy Albelli and her family as they mourn the loss of Sandy's son, Craig Albelli, with Carmel Gold and her family as they mourn the loss of Jeff Gold, with the Sachs family as they mourn the loss of Renee Sachs, with Ken and Selma Bitts and their family as they mourn the loss of Ken's sister, Marion Weil, and with the Klein Rear family as Phyllis mourns the loss of her beloved husband, Larry Rear. There are stars up above. So far away, we only see their light long after the star itself is gone, and so it is with people that we have loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days. These are the ways that we remember. Weaving into those recently deceased, I hold the names of yahrzeits of your loved ones who died in this season in years past. Sarah Adams, remembered by Michael and Doris Zackheim. Max Baker, Richard Cohen, William Dornbush, Arthur Field, Karen Goldberg, remembered by Stephen Trask, Louise Greenwald, Rex Hill, remembered by Melanie Hill, Sylvia Cantor, remembered by Martin Cantor, Jack Katz, Eva Komaroff, remembered by Anita Cantor, Murray Lamb, remembered by Melanie Hill, Abraham Lipgar, Frank Lombardi, remembered by Benjamin Kahn, Jennifer Millens, John Everett Moskowitz, remembered by Richard Moskowitz, Jane Rosen, remembered by Michelle Etner, Elaine Solomon, Bruce Wally, remembered by Ruth Wally, Hillel Ben Moshe Vayeta, Howard Weinstein, remembered by Judith Blanchard. 598, Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ul'almei olmaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shmei dekudusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechemata da'amiram bi'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol b'nei Adam ve'imru. Amen. Lechi Lach, page 645. May we take the high road. May we create a more whole nation, a more sacred union. 645.
Lechilach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. L'chilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'chilach.
Shabbat Shalom.